Hello and welcome to Chrome Computing. A few weeks ago I reviewed the Acer 713 Chromebook, which is a medium high spec Chromebook, and that's great for people who want to spend the money to get that sort of Chromebook that you can use for almost anything with using Chrome OS. However, if you're not looking to spend so much money, you might be looking to buy a budget Chromebook. So I decided to buy an Acer 311 C722 Chromebook. Now this you can get in the UK for about £200 and it's about $200 in the US as well. I actually got this from new for £169, so it was actually on a deal, and that deal, I've had a look, it's also available on Amazon, and I got this from Argos when I was out in town. So it's a really good Chromebook if you don't want to spend too much money. Now the last time I've owned a Chromebook myself, which was a budget Chromebook, was back in 2011 when they were originally launched, and that was a HP Chromebook. Now one thing I do like about them is that they are usually really lightweight because they are made of plastic, and they usually do come in the 11.6-inch display format, which is exactly what this is. So it is really lightweight. Now although it is lightweight, the actual texture on the front is really nice, and it also comes with military standard testing certification. So that means if I drop this from a few feet off the ground, it shouldn't get damaged. And I actually feel that is the case because it is a really robust Chromebook. It's really good. When you consider the price of this, that's what you've got to be considering if you're thinking about buying this Chromebook. So if you're looking for a Chromebook and you don't want to spend lots of money and you just wanted something for surfing the internet, using Facebook, social media, streaming YouTube movies, you'll be absolutely fine with this Chromebook. In relation to what it's got from ports connectivity, you've got a USB-A on this side, so you can use old peripherals, which is great. And on the other side, it's got a USB Type-C, which is good. So that's better for newer peripherals. And it also means you can hook it up to an external display. It's got a microphone headphone jack there. And it's got a little display there, which is red when charging and blue when it's fully charged and when you're using it as well. But it's a great Chromebook, and I don't know if it was deliberate, but it works. So you've got these two little legs here to keep it gripped on the table or the surface you're using on, and there's also a very long one on the back here. But what this also does, having this on the back, it means you can grab it like that, and so you've got a really good grip on this. So it does feel like you can just have this in your hand and you ain't going to worry about dropping it, because that little extra grip, doesn't matter whether you got it like that or even like that, having that little extra grip really does help. So it's a great Chromebook for that. It's perfectly sized. I use this, I've been using this now for about 3 days, and it's something I can just have around without worrying about it. I can literally throw it around without really worrying about it. I can put it in a backpack without worrying about it. So I think I would use this if I was on the move and I didn't want to have the risk of damaging a Chromebook that costs a lot more. So it's perfect for that. I've written a few articles on this with no problem. The keyboard is perfectly fine. It's absolutely fine to type on, not a problem. Obviously it's not going to be as good as a keyboard you get if you spent £600, but you're not spending £600. You're spending, well, it's not even 200 off, it's about £199, $199. So that you've got to consider that. Now the keyboard isn't backlit, but again, for the price, that's fine, but it works fine. The mouse pad is obviously all plastic, but it works, there's not an issue. I'll just log in quickly to show you. So as you can see, we're on, I nearly dropped it then. As you can see, we're on YouTube there, and it's doing a little preview of the movies. But yeah, even streaming YouTube movies, there's no problems. And some people might think with this processor there would be, but I've had no lag as well. And it's using Wi-Fi, so there's no problems at all. Obviously, it's not going to stream in full HD because it's not full HD. It's an 11.6-inch display, so you wouldn't expect to get full HD on a display that size, especially at this price. If you're spending selling a lot more, maybe, but I don't even think I've seen an 11.6-inch display with full HD. But you do get stuff like 13-inch displays with full HD, but you've got to consider the price. One thing I would say, it doesn't have an IPS panel, and that is something that it's not great, but at the same time, it's perfectly fine. This is a laptop for one person to be using. So if you've got it in front of you, it's perfectly fine. You can see the display. The one thing I would say about not having the IPS panel and just having this matte panel, it does seem to help with reflections a little bit more. So that's one positive. But yes, viewing at an angle, it deteriorates, so it's not fantastic. Got it right in front of you, there's no problem at all. From the inside, the design, you do get these big borders, which I'm not a big fan of, but again, we've got to consider the price. But for surfing the internet or using Facebook, using YouTube, word processing, spreadsheets, this is going to be absolutely fine. You can use Android apps as well. You wouldn't be able to use Linux on this, not with the processor, but you can use Android apps and they work. It doesn't have touchscreen. Now, the American one may have, because looking at the descriptions on Amazon, it does suggest the American one does have a touchscreen. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. So if someone does know, maybe leave a comment in the video below. But the UK version definitely doesn't have a touchscreen, and that's not a major issue. It would be nice to have a touchscreen because you can use Android apps on this, but the fact it doesn't at this price range is not an issue. And this is just a laptop. It's not a convertible, which again is definitely not an issue. Although I like convertibles, I don't think they're amazing. Using a laptop in tablet mode has never been something I'm really interested in, but I do like to have a touchscreen. But you know, it's no big issue there. One thing I do like with this is when you open it, usually certainly with cheaper laptops, when you open it, it sort of stops there normally. And if you keep on opening and pushing against where it stops, it can over time, you know, it's get a bit weak, but this actually does go right the way back like that. So that's really good. So you can have it whichever angle you need, and it's really good. So I do like that, that's good. In relation to Android apps, you will be able to use Android apps on this. Maybe some really advanced Android apps may work pretty slow if they're advanced graphics, because the processor's not a fantastic processor for that sort of thing. But for daily use of using the internet, using Facebook, streaming YouTube movies, there's no problem at all. Now, it comes with 4 GB of RAM, which is more than enough for a budget Chromebook. The storage is only 32 GB of storage, so that is a little small, if I'm being honest with you. It would have been much nicer if it had 64 GB of storage, because then you could install more Android apps. But that's the only thing you need to be concerned about when it comes to storage, because anything else like word processed documents, Excel documents, documents to download off the internet, you should be putting all of them in your Google Drive anyway, so they won't use your storage. The only thing you really use storage for are your Android apps. So you won't be able to install lots of Android apps. There is no micro SD slot, so you can't increase the storage either. However, saying that, even if it did have a micro SD slot, that wouldn't allow you to install more Android apps, because you can't install Android apps on SD cards, so no big issue there. However, you can set it to, if you download movies off Netflix, for example, using the app, you can set it so they store onto an SD card to stop taking up your local storage. So that is something to consider. Would have been nice, but you know, again, you've got to consider the price. Yeah, it's fine. It has got a webcam. The sound is okay. Don't expect much for the price. But yeah, it's a nice laptop, and it's something that for the price, this is something I will possibly, I might even keep. And I know that might sound a bit crazy, because I do like good gadgets with really good specs, but I brought the Acer 713 a few weeks ago, and although it's a great Chromebook, I don't think I will be keeping it, because for me, it's not portable enough for me, and I need a laptop that's portable. I've got a Chromebox that I can use for everything else, so I don't need a laptop to have everything. So for me, what I realized for a laptop, what's more important is something that's portable. And because this is so small, you can easily just put this in a bag without worrying about it. And the fact it's got their military standards as well, certification, means you can drop this from a few feet without worrying about it. And I do seriously think it would take the impact without any issues at all. I think it's perfect for school children as well. So if you're a teacher and you're looking to buy Chromebooks for a class, then I'd definitely consider the Acer 311 C722. Or if you're a parent and you want to look for a cheap laptop for your children, and consider it, or even yourself. You know, why spend lots of money on a Chromebook if you're not going to be using the functionality that comes with them? So yeah, I wanted to review a cheaper Chromebook because I've not personally owned a cheap Chromebook for a long period of time since they were originally launched in 2011. And it's good to see that it still can, even now with Chrome OS and it has advanced, it shows that Chrome OS is still extremely lightweight, because this processor is not a powerful processor, it's a budget processor, 4 GB of RAM, 32 GB storage, and it performs fine. It can stream movies as well on YouTube without any problems. I thought it might have had some problems with cutting in and out, but no, don't get me wrong, it's not as fast at performing as something with a better processor, but for day-to-day use, I think this is absolutely fine. So if you're after a Chromebook without spending lots of money, then I would definitely consider the Acer 311 C722. It's a good Chromebook, and I think it looks nice as well. It does look nice. I'd quite happily use this. As I said, the only thing some people may have an issue with is, one, the storage, which isn't fantastic. It's not got an IPS panel, but you can still view perfectly fine without the IPS panel. I do prefer IPS panels, but using this just for yourself, it's fine. And you don't get as much glare off this, if I'm being honest with you, or reflection, which is quite nice. Then if I'm being really picky, don't really love the borders. But for the price, for under £200, $200, you really can't complain. I think it's a really good deal. So if you're after a budget Chromebook, then you might want to consider this one. If you liked the video, please like below and subscribe to the channel for future videos, and thanks for watching.